fantasy football on its way in the next few weeks and the NFL season starting. I'm going to go through every pick in 12-team leagues, and today will be the first pick overall and the players I picked and the strategy I used. So obviously, first pick overall on my board, number one, Jamar Chase. Last season, a monster year, over 100 catches, won the Triple Crown. Him and Joe Burrow on the same page. I know he got paid in the offseason as Jamar Chase. Him and Saquon Barkley obviously is an argument point for fantasy owners, but on my board, he's number one is Chase, especially PPR leagues. He's been one of the best receivers over the last few seasons since he came into the league. And I went number one with Chase now on the way back, end of the second round, and then the first pick in the third round, Kyren Williams. He just newly re-signed, 3-year, $33 million deal. A lot of people, they were worried that Kyren might not get the extension and he might lose some playing time after last season, drafting Blake Corum and adding more in the NFL draft this offseason to the backfield. But like I said, Kyren, he got a healthy contract. I know he's a smaller back, but I still have confidence Kyren could go out there at least the next couple seasons and be a solid running back for this Ram offense that's loaded, where teams aren't obviously going to load the box, where you got Puka Nacua and Davante Adams. And Kyren the last two seasons, even as a smaller back, he's handled the load, even though I know a couple years ago he missed 4 or 5 games that year. Then third round, Tyreek Hill, where he's one of the better values, in my opinion, going into fantasy drafts. I know last year was a down year. I know Tua, he was out the majority of the season with the concussion issues once again. But Tyreek Hill, as long as he stays healthy, Tua and Hill keeps it going and plays well. I think Tyreek Hill, once again, can have a monster season and be definitely a league-winning type of wide receiver this year's Hill. So in the third round to get Tyreek Hill, who obviously has top 10 upside year in and year out, I think it's a no-brainer for most fantasy owners going into the season. Then the fourth round, I went DK Metcalf. My strategy is going to be this year, a lot of wide receivers early in your fantasy drafts, especially in PPR leagues where you want obviously 2-3 solid wide receivers to begin. So DK Metcalf, first year, it's going to be with Pittsburgh. We know they traded George Pickens in the offseason. We know Aaron Rodgers is the quarterback, and usually number one wide receivers, even over the last couple of years where Rodgers' play has obviously dropped off a little bit, number one receivers still go out there and put up numbers. We saw with Garrett Wilson and Davante Adams last season with the Jets. So to have Metcalf as a flex or a number 3 receiver, depending the positions in your fantasy leagues, I like it. Then fifth round, I went David Montgomery. He's still going to get goal line, still going to catch some passes out of the backfield. I know obviously Jahmyr Gibbs, one of the best running backs, and possibly could be the best fantasy player this season, depending how things shake out. But David Montgomery, a solid running back. I think solid number 2 option, especially to go with the receivers I got in this draft. So I think Montgomery, once again, wouldn't be surprised in double-digit touchdowns, anywhere from 25, 35 catch range. And he's still going to get the opportunities in goal line. Then sixth round, to Torrey McMillan. I think he could have a great season as the rookie wide receiver. I know Bryce Young, it's been up and down so far in the first couple seasons for him in the NFL, but McMillan, prized wide receiver in the past NFL draft, early first round pick, and they need another playmaker. Adam Thielen, he had some good weeks over the last couple years over there, obviously with the Panthers, but now they get a true playmaker and one of the best wide receivers in college. To have McMillan as my fourth wide receiver, I think that's great value and someone who can help fantasy owners this season. Then seventh round, I went TJ Hawkinson, coming off the ACL, played half a season last year. I know new quarterback McCarthy, he's going to start this season with Sam Darnold going in free agency, signing with the Seattle Seahawks. But McCarthy, they got great weapons: Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, Hawkinson, backfield Aaron Jones, obviously, and Jordan Mason. So I think a lot of easy looks it's going to be for Hawkinson. He's a big target, works the middle of the field, good hands, good red zone ability. And I think to get him in the seventh round where he could have top 3 possibly outlook this season is good value. Then eighth round, I went Kyler Murray. So Murray, to get him in the eighth round, I think is decent value. Kyler Murray last season was up and down year. It just seemed like one great game, one bad game type of thing it was with Kyler Murray. But this season, second year, obviously Marvin Harrison in this offense where I think he could have a breakout season. Now, obviously, bump Murray's numbers up. He had another great year running the football as Murray, where we know he's one of the best rushing quarterbacks in fantasy football in the NFL, obviously. And I think Murray, to get him in the eighth round, is good value, and to also have one of the better tight ends as well in his offense in McBride, I think is a great thing as well. Then Ramondre Stevenson, starting with some running back depth. Stevenson, I still think, is going to get a decent amount of touches this season and possibly open the year as the starter, with the rookie Henderson being the backup. So Stevenson is a depth piece and someone off the bench. I like him in the 9th round. 10th round, Keon Coleman. Last season was a down rookie year for Coleman. Showed a couple flashes here and there. Obviously in a high-powered offense with one of the best, if not the best quarterback in the league. In my opinion, it's between Lamar Jackson and Josh Allen, very close. So to get Coleman in the 10th as my 5th receiver, I like it. Then the 11th round, Jerome Ford. Right now, I think he's the favorite in that backfield going in, with Jukins having off-the-field issues and obviously being a rookie, where his rankings definitely dropped over the last couple weeks, where Ford looks like he could step in and be the starter once again, where we've seen Ford over the last few seasons be a solid piece for fantasy owners in the Browns, where he's a nice flex option or a good depth piece. Then 12th round, I went Najee Harris. We know he's banged up. I'm big on Amari Hampton coming into the season, but Harris, I still think, is going to get some touches in the backfield. I don't expect Hampton in his rookie year to come out and get anywhere from 250 to 300 touches, where Harris, he could be a change of pace and a short yardage back, where obviously Hampton's the home run hitter and a big-time back, no doubt about it, where they drafted him in the 2nd round was the Chargers. And then in the last round, where you take flyers on young guys who have potential to break out, I went with Luther Burden, the 3rd, obviously the 3rd wide receiver going into the year with the Chicago Bear team. DJ Moore, Roma Dunze in his 2nd season, the number 2 wide receiver. But last year, obviously, when Keenan Allen was there with Chicago, they ran a lot of 3 wide receiver sets. So right there, I think Burden, he definitely could be a breakout in the second half of the year, is the rookie, and one of the better college wide receivers as well coming out. So my final roster with this draft on Yahoo, the mock drafts, they only go 2 receivers, 2 backs, a flex, quarterback, tight end, and 6 bench. So Kyler Murray, a quarterback. Like I said, 8th round was good value for him. Jamar Chase, he's my number 1 pick overall, so he's easy slotted in. Tyreek Hill, Kyron Williams, and Montgomery, I think a solid backfield. Those guys, they find the end zone. They put up points for the most part. I know not great receivers out of the backfield, but still, I think that's a solid backfield over there in my starting roster. Then Hawkinson at tight end, I think he have a good year, especially coming off the ACL, going into the 2nd year, coming off the injury, where he could be quicker and more healthy. And then Metcalf, he could surprise this season. And like I said, to have him as my flex and number 3 wide receiver overall, I think Metcalf can have a good year with Aaron Rodgers, especially if this Steelers team doesn't have many other options to stretch the field. Then McMillan, I think he has a good rookie year. I'm big on him going into the season, coming off the bench. Stevenson, I still think he's going to get work with Henderson drafted over there, obviously by the Pats. Keon Coleman, 2nd season, not a lot of big threats. Obviously Shakir, the number 1 over there in Buffalo, but I think Coleman could take the next step. Jerome Ford, as of now, I think's the starter with Jukins off the field issues. Then Najee Harris, whatever, he's my 5th running back. He's still going to get work behind Hampton, or even it could be a 50-50 split if he's ready by opening day, is Harrison. Then Luther Burden, a rookie to take a flyer on, where he has potential good upside. So that was the 1st pick overall with my draft, and I think it came out a pretty decent draft. Obviously, I just went with the players I like and what the board dictated in this draft as we enter the upcoming 2025 fantasy football season.